Now the forum is open for Q&A session. Interested people may click raise hand button in the Zoom application. Yes. We are unmuting you, Mrs. Gayatri Sargunarajan.
Be blessed by the divine. Sir, just I have one doubt, sir.
Please.
About the repulsive force of the absolute space.
Yeah. The absolute space is a subtle energy state. Because of its vastness, it remains as the self-compressive force. Upon the formation of a particle, this self-compressive force acts as the surrounding pressure force. Now you imagine a particle, the surrounding pressure force acts on it from the circumference towards the center. Though the particle is in spin, the force will travel from the circumference to the center. At the center, there will be no motion at all. If there is no motion, what has fragmented into a particle and is spinning is nothing but the space. When there is a point where there is no motion at all, that would only be the absolute space itself. So the surrounding pressure from the periphery goes to the center and it has nowhere else to go, so it returns. So the compressive pressure itself forms the repulsive force. When it comes out, it tries to pull or push some of the dust particles inside the energy particle. And because of this push, certain dust particles may spill out of the energy particles and they spiral around the energy particle, forming the magnetic wave. This magnetic wave is also exhibits the repulsive force. So the self-compressive surrounding pressure force itself automatically transforms into the repulsive force. These repulsive force and the attractive force put together form the magnetism.
Thanks for the question, Madam Gayatri. Do you have any more questions? We are unmuting you, Gayatri. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Sir, I have a doubt. Sir. Sorry, sir. Is formative dust and energy particle both one and the same?
Formative dust and the energy particle are not one and the same, but a collection of dust particles form the energy particle. So to say, lakhs and lakhs of dust particles join together in a spherical volume or globular volume to form the energy particle. Because these formative dust particles are in spin, the collective energy particle also spins, that too because of the surrounding pressure. So energy particles is the stable form of a particle. The formative dust goes on manifested and unmanifested, the duration of which we cannot say, but they go on manifested and unmanifested. They do not occupy a specific volume or place. So only the materialistic aspects comes only with when the energy particle appears. The energy particles contains lakhs and lakhs of these formative
Dust
dust.
particles.
Only a collection of formative dust particles form the energy particles.
Thank you so much, sir. We are unmuting you, Arulnidhi Parthasarathi.
Ramadan sir, wonderful speech. You take us to the complete journey of evolutionary process of the nature. I have two questions, sir. One is in science way, in physics way, as we all know that from Panchabhutas transform from one state to another state to another. How do we imagine the solid come from the water? So before the Earth planet starting to exist, the solid starting to exist, how do we imagine that the whole of water exists in the planetary orbit? And please explain, sir. And another question is, what is the role of the consciousness in this modern world? According to Swamiji, the pattern, precision, regularity, which is existing in organic and organic matters, and the cognition, experience, and discriminations in all living beings. So in this modern world, there are lots of changes, genetically modified food and chemicalized food, which is a major role play in this modern world. What is the role of consciousness? How it is adapting to the living beings in this stage? And what is the benefit of the Kaya Kalpa to overcome or to adapt or to accept to this modern world of people living in this world, sir? Thank you for
The formation of formative dust particle is because of the crumbling or fragmentation of the space. Millions and millions of formative dust particles form in a certain volume of space. This is first manifestation, and the duration of which we do not know, but the formative dust particles dissolve or disappear and then form. So what Maharishi says is, even this absolute space is not because it is very dark and motionless and all that we say as descriptions, it is not a solid block. Water, if we consider water, it is a collection of atoms and molecules. Likewise, air also a collection of atoms and molecules. Likewise, the absolute space, even beyond the manifested universe, is not a solid block, dark and motionless. It remains as a collection or a mass of formative dust only. At times, because of the kinematic querying and self-compressive force, certain part of the space itself fragment and form the formative dust particles. Because of the self-compressive force itself, these formative dust particles group together to form an energy particle. Since the energy particles are spinning, since the formative dust particles are spinning, the energy particle also spins. So this is called as the first transformation and has a materialistic aspect, material aspect, because it occupies a certain volume in space. when many of these energy particles form in space, they will have their own speed, they will have their own magnetic waves around them. These magnetic waves have a repulsive force. The divine self-compressive force tries to bring the two particles together, and they cannot come and join with each other, mingle with each other. Because of the magnetic waves, repulsive force of the magnetic waves, they are pushed off, out, away from each other. The self-compressive force tries to bring them together. The repulsive force of the magnetic waves try to separate them or push them away. In time, there will be a balance. This is the distance between the two particles. In time, one particle would have appeared earlier, the second would have appeared later. The energy particles spinning inside space, because of the friction and because of some of the formative dust particles leaving because of the rotation, their speed goes on decreasing slowly. Where the one particle whose spin speed is lower, its repulsive force is also becomes lower. So the second particle gets nearer and nearer the first particle. At one point, this gets trapped in the magnetic field of the first particle and is carried in an orbit around the first particle. These two form a system. So to say, this system of two particles, one particle revolving around the other, is called
Association.
as hydrogen. So in this way, the system goes on developing or increasing depending upon the energy particles which join together, one revolving around the other. The strength goes on increasing. So they are categorized as elements depending upon the strength of their quantity or the number of energy particles constituting this. So this is called atom. So by the compression or the self-compressive force, these atoms also join together to form the molecules. Molecules join together, or atoms and molecules come together to form the air and the dense air, water, and solid. These five states, five elements, come in different proportions. So to say, at the when it began to form, because of the self-compressive force, they are to take a globular shape. Because of the self-compressive force and because all the energy particles inside that form are spinning, the shape will be globular or spherical, and he taught to spin about its center. So the collection in time goes on denser and denser, and it is said that it comes to a situation when it is called the nebula. As time goes on, this collection goes on to be cooled and cooled. So the air, water, and the solid take their position in the collection, which is governed by the specific gravity. That is how planets originate. As the particles, and as time passes on, because of the repulsive force, they come together. A fluctuation in the repulsive force, they come together. Planets also have their repulsive force, emanating magnetic waves. The self-compressive pressure trying to bring two planets together, but the repulsive force pushing them apart. and one in time, one revolving the other becomes a system. So that is how over every system, for example, our solar system, sun and the other planets are revolving around it. They are keeping a particular distance. So the distance between sun and earth is determined by the repulsive force of the given by the magnetic waves from the sun and the earth. The self-compressive force all over the universe is constant. That does not change at all. Only fluctuation occurs in the repulsive force. If the repulsive force is short or lower, then one of the planets come together. If the repulsive force strong or increases, the planets are pushed apart. So when the balance comes, there is a specific distance between the two planets. That is how the 9 crore miles of distance between sun and earth is fixed. So this is fixed by consciousness only. Nobody has anything to do that. So that is how the solar system formed, galaxies formed, and the universe has formed. So every planet, because of the specific gravity principle, solids go deeper, water is placed next, fire is there, taking its position in the earth, air is around the earth, and the energy particles are all over there because they are not bounded to some free energy particles are there. They are there in solids and water and dense air, and free particles are also there. So in earth, you can see that the 5 elements are in a mixed form and also in individual forms. So as time passes on, in certain places, because of the rotation of the earth, variations of the climatic variations, at certain part of it, where there are solid, liquid, air, and energy particles, individually and collectively, a small portion of it takes a globular shape, and the free energy particles and magnetism circulate within that body. That is the transformation or the appearance of first living being in earth. Okay, I have come somewhere. I have forgotten the last part of your question or doubt. Oh, in this modern days, consciousness travels all along from the first transformation of this absolute space to formative dust, then to energy particles, then to atoms, then to 5 elements, then to nebula, then to planets, then to living beings. First 1 sense, 2 sense, 3 sense, 4 sense, 5 sense, and by a divine process which was instigated by divine consciousness, man with 6th sense appeared in this world. Right from the start, man was living along with other creatures in the forest, but he has because he has the thinking power. That is what is called the 6th sense. So he was observing the changes in the nature around him. There were cyclones, there were floods, there were drought, there were hot sun, there were rainy seasons. Some of them, so he wanted to protect himself from these calamities. And he tried to convert, first he tried to control these changes in the climate, but he was not able to do so. Then he tried to convert the naturally occurring values according to his own wishes and needs. But that also he could not do up to the limit, up to the standard that he thought of. So when he was not able to control the natural phenomena, he thought of what could have caused all these things. So he was thinking of a supernatural power, and to appease that, he began to worship. So that is how worship came into existence. And then as time goes on, groups of these people began to live together, depending upon the needs of the group and for the protection of individuals in the group. Certain conditions were to be imposed by one another, and they had to follow that. In the meantime, the thinking or the sixth sense power made him think of converting the natural values to his to suit his needs. He began to improve upon them. That was the basis of the improvements in science and technology. The other one, there was improvement because of his thinking. The frequencies of his mind went on into subtler and subtler stages. Together with his research, based on his experiences, he began to probe into the primordial, what could be the primordial state and other things. And that was philosophy. Now, as time went on, the culture in the society went on changing, depending upon the comforts the man was able to bring into his life because of his findings in science and technological developments. So, because of this, people wanted to have more comforts for them than that are with the others. They developed all the emotional states in man, and it led the man to go farther and farther from nature. That is what we are doing now. But consciousness is there. The physical, psychic extension of consciousness is mind. The mind is the projection of whatever imprints are there in the genetic center. Whatever we have put in through the five senses from our birth, they come out as our character, our thinking, our words, and also our actions. So because man has put in so much of imprints in the genetic center, the pure form of the genetic center or the consciousness, which is the genetic center, is not able to project its pure form in the thinking and speaking and actions of man. So only certain institutions like ours, WCEC, and other spiritual and philosophical institutions have to propagate the true nature of the self and of the absolute. So this goes on, and it went on and went on. It goes now going on. It will go on and go on. So there will be both positive and negative aspects in the life of man. When one man, if you consider one particular man, whatever principles and philosophy he takes and stores or registers in his genetic center, that will come out as his character. So slowly and slowly, now we see so many people are becoming vexed because of the culture, because of the style of culture that is developing all over the world. With sometime man will become vexed with this path and turn back to spirituality and philosophy and correct himself. That will come slowly in the society. That is how man has to retrieve himself from the calamities that pose on him because of the change in culture. Thank you.
Thank you, Ayya. வாழ்க வளமுடன். Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we are unmuting you, Professor Shakti Karunanidhi. Please ask your question, sir.
வாழ்க வளமுடன், sir. Thank you so much for a wonderful presentation. My doubt is on gravity. If you look at the physical sciences, what we've learned through the education system, it explains gravity as an attractive force between masses, whereas Maharishi has placed a much broader perspective of gravity, which is both a combination of surrounding self-compressing force as well as the repulsive force. Where do we place the explanation of gravity in physical sciences in Maharishi's concept of gravity, sir?
Okay, so there is a difference. Gravity in science is defined as the attractive force between two masses. And this attractive force is said to be an inherent property of masses. So in science, there is no principle that is given to space. So if there are two masses, first mass attracts the other mass, the second mass attracts the first mass, this is attractive force. These two masses are not stable. They revolve around each other. When they revolve around each other, there is a centripetal force because of this attraction. Because of the revolution, there is a centripetal force. The balance between these two fixes the distance between the two objects. So this can be, we can say that is true from atoms to the celestial bodies. And what Maharishi says is, the absolute space being a certain energy state, it remains a self-compressive force. When transformations take place, let us go to energy particle. One energy particle is there, another energy particle is there. The self-compressive force of the Almighty is there on both these energy particles. This self-compressive force tries to bring together these two energy particles. But the two energy particles are spinning. The formative dust particles inside these energy particles are the magnetic particles. They are thrown off from the energy particle because they are thrown out formative dust particles cannot travel straight out. Because of the self-compressive force, they have to take a spiral path with a shorter circle, another longer circle, bigger circle, another bigger circle, like that. They will take a spiral path. So these magnetic waves have a repulsive capacity for their own selves. So the self-compressive force try to bring together the energy particles. The magnetic repulsive force try to push them apart. The balance fixes the distance between the two particles. So here, when a particle has originated by transformation, the self-compressive force acts as the surrounding pressure force. So this surrounding pressure force tries to bring any particle right from the energy particle to the masses in the universe, try to bring them together. So this capacity to bring them together, or the force which tries to bring them together, is called as, is what Swamiji calls as gravity. So for science and to differentiate between the definitions of gravity in science and our
Maharshi's philosophy.
principles, we can consider a door. We can find that one side of the door, there will be letters push. The other side of the door, there will be letters pull. The process is the same, either to open the door or to close the door. A person inside will pull the door. A person outside the door will push the door to open it. So gravity is defined according to the point of view. Science looks at it from the center of the two particles or two planets, and it considers gravity as the attractive force functioning between the two particles or planets. But Maharshi principle says that the self-compressive force, so this view is from outside the particles. So this compressive force tries to bring together the two particles. So the process is the same. The two particles are pulled together to come nearer and nearer. But when we look from outside, the compressive force tries to bring them together. This is what gravity, as told by Vedatriya. Science stands at the center of the energy particles, between the energy particles. The energy particles are pulled together, and science says this attractive force is gravity. That is the difference. Thank you, sir.
வாழ்க வளமுடன், sir. Thank you so much, sir. And now we would request Sky Senior Professor Balachandran to share their views on this occasion. Over to you,
Thank very
sir.
much. Yeah, it's a very good presentation. I just wanted to add to the previous questioner some more points. We know that it's because of Newton that it has been that attraction between the two particles is what is gravity. But then when Einstein, he was not satisfied with that, and Einstein proved that space also has an impact on this gravity. But the science did not agree to it. But just because of one heavenly incident, that according to Newton, the Mercury should have come in this position during an eclipse day or so. Whereas, according to Einstein, it must be at a different place. It is because that was shown to be correct experimentally. Then only the science world agreed. So science has started moving to find answers beyond the Newton's concept of gravity. So he succeeded a bit. But even then, Einstein also at the very end of his life, he said, I'm not fully satisfied. I have not got the answer. But then he could not complete it. And Swamiji goes to the other extreme, that space is gravity. In fact, we met a scientist in USA who was doing a similar experiment. I forget his name. So he has gone to some island and he has been trying to prove that space is what gravity is. There are certain things which cannot be experimentally proved. It doesn't mean that it is not true. Today, science is accepted. I think in 1900, the Nobel laureate, so he made a statement that within another 15, 20 years, we would know everything. Science would be able to explain it, and physics will only improve the sensitivity of the experiments. That's all. So that was the height of our ego with science. But now today, the science world itself says that we don't know about 95% of things, that we call it as dark matter, dark energy.
Yeah.
We are dark about it. That's the problem. It's not what is dark matter, dark energy. It is the darkness of our knowledge. So we accepted, science third has accepted that there are some problems. There are strengths in science, there are weaknesses in science, just like in philosophy. The strength of science is unless you prove it, you won't accept it.
Yes, Swamiji used to say empirical proof. Right?
Yes, but there are certain things which cannot be proved empirically.
Yeah.
Science will not accept it.
Yeah.
In fact, can I add some more? Can I add some more to it?
Certainly, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
With a minimum time.
Yeah, one rationalist had come and he asked Swamiji, I would like to ask you a few questions. He said, okay, ask me. So he says, I will believe God only if you show me God. Otherwise, I won't believe it because I'm a rationalist. So Swamiji smiled. So he said, okay. But before that, can I ask you a few questions? So he asked him something. Then he asked him, are you intelligent? Do you have a mind? தமிழ்ல என்ன சொல்லுவாங்க உனக்கு அறிவு இருக்கா? I don't know how to translate correctly. So that man got wild. He said, I am asking you with all reverence that you show me God, I will believe it. And now you're asking me such a question, whether I have mind or intellect, things like that. Swamiji replied, no, please answer this question. Then he said, if I'm asking this question, that means I have intelligence, isn't it? I'm asking such a serious question. Then Swamiji says, no, you show me your intelligence, then I'll accept it.
Yeah.
So then he said, no, intelligence cannot be shown. Only the result can be seen. So if you can't show your intelligence, which is very limited, how can I show the intelligence of that which is covering everything, which is running everything? So this is the question, that even a scientist, first, the idea which he gets is still not experimentally proved. It's only a hypothesis. It's only a theory. Correct. So that's an intuition.
Yes.
So later, we will find that what Swamiji says may be correct. But even today, science has got many questions which are not answerable. What is happening at the lowest level? That is this, what they call strong forces, strong nuclear force, weak nuclear force, electromagnetism, they're at the micro level, and gravitation is at a distance, force at a distance. These two, they are not able to connect. It's called quantum physics here, and that is a different thing, conventional. So they're not able to link it. Possibly, assuming space is to be the gravity, and if you can derive everything, then maybe science may be more complete, along with philosophy. That is Swamiji's ideas. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. I quote one of few words Swamiji had told. He said that once, the latter years of his life, Einstein told that the attractive force itself becomes the repulsive force in a micro world. I don't know how. He told that Einstein had told that, but I didn't have any references to substantiate it. But Einstein himself has had a view or an idea that the attractive force itself transforms into the repulsive force. He couldn't explain how and why. This statement was quoted by our Swamiji in one of our meetings. So this could substantiate the statement that the attractive force itself transforms into repulsive force, and his statement that the universe is nothing but repulsive force and its fluctuations. Okay, thank you, sir. வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
வாழ்க வளமுடன். Now we are unmuting you, Arulidi Parthasarathi.
I have another question, sir. What is the difference and or similarity between metallurgy in science, Rasavadam in philosophy? Thank you, sir.
I think
Think about it.
the Dr. Rabindranath, I try to answer your question.
Please, sir.
The
Thank you, sir.
metallurgy is physical
Yeah,
and Rasavadam is spiritual.
perfectly.
But
Perfect.
yeah, so that is the difference. Now it is time. Shall we move on to the next item? Vote of thanks. Sankari,
Yes, sir.
okay.
Yes, sir. Please, sir.
Now, yes, sir.
வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
Thank you, thank you. We have past 6 weeks. Now we are in the next, and we all concentrate on the same consciousness. And there has been repetitions also. In spite of that, we have some difficult areas to understand. One is when we say absolute space is having inherent surrounding self-compressive force, which is querying kinematic, and how this force has come, where from this force has come. This is $1 million question, which we may have to be. It is similar to something, just words only have changed. Instead of telling that the Udukai Oli created the universe, Om created the universe, we are introducing the surrounding self-compressive force, and we don't know where it arises from, how it has come from. And now again, the difficult area is the formation of the dust particles, divine dust particles. The same self-compressive surrounding pressure force is operating, and if the space crumbles to form dust particles, they all will be of the same size and shape. When these dust particles have the same force of rotation as they have come out from the same surrounding compression force, absolute space, there cannot be a possibility of having an association of particles. That is, the faster particle and a slower particle. The speed difference may not be possible to explain with the idea that the surrounding self-compressive force is the same all the time. And then goes the association. Once the association takes place, science has come up to that level, and whatever science says, we have proof, and we are able to follow, understand. Atomic physics, chemistry, everything is explaining all the things. But for these 2-3 areas where we find it, we have to understand. And Maharishi, fortunately for us, have taken us closer to the truth. With this, I think we have to continue our search for understanding consciousness fully. Thank you all. And now I move to the vote of thanks. And today's speaker, chief guest, our own publication director, who has brought so many books after Swamiji to help us and to enrich our knowledge, has given an overall view of the consciousness, and he has given this with clarity and simplicity. And he himself is quite calm and simple, but deep within him creates so many books. And thank you, sir, for this thing. And the question and answer session also, he has given long, elaborate answers. And this will definitely help us to understand consciousness better. I thank the Australian team, the meditation, welcome speech, and the concluding speech given by Parthasarathi and Prabhakaran and Ganesan in a very fitting manner. And they all have proved that even though they are far away from the headquarters of World Community Service Center, they have the same understanding and command over the Vedadriyam. And this is really encouraging, and we are pleased to have association with Australian members of our family. And I thank you all for your participation in a big way. Thank you, gentlemen. And now regarding the organizers, the Sankari Naresh requires a special appreciation for taking these sessions, they're comparing very short and sweet. And I thank the people who have worked behind the screen, Mr. Putralam, the R&D team, the Rajashekar, Dr. Balachandran and his team, Dr. Janaki Raman for his support and sustenance of the process, and our Rangaswamy from Husur, Dr. Shanmugavel, and so many people. And I thank all those people who have worked for this continuation of the long series of lectures. I thank all of you and also the participants for helping us to carry on this procedure. I only request you participants to increase your number so that we will be doing something useful for the society at large. Let our efforts be useful to many. So with this request, I thank all the participants and also the media, which has helped us to do it so nicely. We thank Zoom also. And now we will go to the next item. Sankari.
Thanks again to all participants. Please participate in this event every week. Next week, 27th February 2021, we have Sky Professor Nakiran speaking on the topic Levels of Consciousness. You can watch and subscribe to Consciousness 360-degree videos on the YouTube channel name as Vedatriyam Gurukulam and Facebook page Vedatri Maharishi Kundalini Yoga. Spread the word to all your Sky friends. Let everyone to take part in this event. May the blessings of Almighty and Guru Yogiraj Vedatri Maharishi be with us always. See you all next week. Practice our Sky Yoga every day. Stay safe till then. Be blessed by the divine. Now we are going to conclude the session with World Peace Prayer. உலக நல வாழ்த்துடன் நிகழ்ச்சியை முடிவு செய்கிறோம். வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
உலகமெல்லாம் பருவமழை ஒத்தபடி பெய்யட்டும், உழவரெல்லாம் தானியத்தை உவப்புடனே பெருக்கட்டும். பெருகட்டும். பல தொழில்கள் புரிகின்ற பாட்டாளி உயரட்டும். பகுத்துணர்வில் தொகுத்துணர்வு பண்பாட்டை உயர்த்தட்டும். உலகமெல்லாம் பருவமழை ஒத்தபடி பெய்யட்டும். கலகங்கள் போட்டி பகை கடந்து ஆட்சி நடக்கட்டும். கல்லாமை கடன் வறுமை களங்கங்கள் மறையட்டும். கலகங்கள் போட்டி பகை கடந்தாட்சி நடக்கட்டும். கல்லாமை கடன் வறுமை களங்கங்கள் மறையட்டும். நலவாழ்வை அளிக்கும் மெய்ஞான ஒளி வீசட்டும். நலவாழ்வை அளிக்கும் மெய்ஞான ஒளி வீசட்டும். நம் கடமை அறவாழ்வின் நாட்டத்தே சிறக்கட்டும். நம் கடமை அறவாழ்வின் நாட்டத்தே சிறக்கட்டும். நம் கடமை அறவாழ்வின் நாட்டத்தே சிறக்கட்டும். நம் கடமை அறவாழ்வின்